Good morning, students. Welcome back to Information Technology Lecture 3, E-commerce and E-governance. In this lectures, we are going to learn form of e-commerce, e-commerce technology, e-governance, type of e-governance, and security measure in e-commerce. So let's start. What are form of e-commerce? So common form of e-commerce are m-commerce. First is the mobile commerce. See, look at the first is the mobile commerce. The mobile commerce is the buying and selling of goods and services through the wireless device such as your smartphone and the tablet. By using this device you can do online shopping. You can sell the things or you can buy the things. So that is called the m-commerce. E-commerce and m-commerce enable user to access online shopping the platform without needing to use a desktop computers. So here the person can use his mobile, smartphone or the tablet and he can do purchase online. Okay, so that is called the m-commerce. And some of the applications of m-commerce are mobile banking, ticket booking, e-bill payment, online auctions, stock marketing, etc. So in this first is we are going to discuss about in this m-commerce or mobile banking. Now this day no need to go to the bank physically to deposit the money or to transfer the money from one bank to the another bank. Okay, you are going to withdraw some money, then ATMs are there outside. Okay, but through the mobile you can transfer the money, you can see the bank balance from your account sitting at home. Next, ticket booking. By using mobile you can easily book the ticket of airline or bus or the train, or even movie ticket also you can book sitting at home. Now e-bill payment, you want to pay the bill of electricity, you want to pay uh, your LIC. Okay, if the insurance policy is there you can pay that bill also. You can pay water bill, you can even pay another bills, you can recharge the mobile, you can recharge the dish TV by sitting at home through the smartphone, through the tablet. So that is called m-commerce. Online auction you can do through the mobile, stock marketing. So these are the examples what you can do by using mobile commerce. So this is called the mobile commerce. Mobile commerce is the buying and selling of a goods and service through wireless handheld device such as your smartphone. Okay, the next we are going to see that social commerce. The next one is the social commerce. Social commerce is a form of electronic commerce and that involves social media, online media that support a social interaction, and it enable shopper to get advice from trusted individuals, find good and service and then purchase them. The social network that spread this advice have been found to increase the customer trust in one retailer over the another. And the social commerce is the use of networking websites such as your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So these are the social medias are there now. These medias are famous. Okay, so through the Facebook, suppose someone has put this ad on any mobile on the Facebook, so many people are there on the Facebook. Through that this common business can increase through this social media, Instagram, Twitter. So these are the different social medias are there. They, through that people are selling their product. So this success of social commerce campaigns is the measured by the degree to which consumer interact with the company marketing through retweets, like and shares. If you know that now this day these are the social media which we use. Pinterest is there, YouTube is there, Twitter is there, Facebook is there. So these are the social media through the people are doing online business. Now earlier day on the television one media was there the ad comes and the people purchase the thing. But now the social media become business of the product. Okay, so through the social media anyone can purchase uh, the things which is easily available on the site. So next is e-commerce technology. The e-commerce technologies is such as mobile commerce, electronic fund transfer, supply chain management, internet market, online transaction processing, electronic data interchange (EDI), inventory management system, and automated data collection system. Let's see one of the common e-commerce technology, EDI. Now this day, electronic data interchange is the common e-commerce technology. When you book any product online, the data transfer from one device to the another device, and this EDI is a paperless method. When you book the product, you get automatically that message on your mobiles. You have successfully booked the product, like this message comes. How this message comes? Through the electronic data interchange, from one device is sent to another device and you get that message. So this technology is called a mobile commerce. You can transfer the fund easily. Okay, internet banking. Now these day people are using internet banking. It is very safe. While doing online shopping, most of the people are using internet bank marketing or internet banking instead of using the debit card or credit card. Online transaction processing. Now all the transaction processing get online. Electronic data interchange (EDI). So inventory management system in account. Automated data collection system. Automatically data will be collected through this device. That is called e-commerce technology. The next is electronic data interchange. Explanation is given here, EDI. So EDI is the electronic interchange of business information using a standard format, a process which allows one company to send information to the another company electronically rather than on paper. That's why it is called as a paperless method. Here they're not using paper to write and send to the other company. So business entity conducting business electronically are called trading partner, and many business document can be exchanged using EDI. So two most common documents are purchase order and the invoice. When we purchase and we get the invoice of that purchase thing, this comes to the electronic data interchange, and it is the computer to computer data is interchange of strictly formatted document via telecommunication or the physically transported on electronic storage media. Sometime we are calling to the customer care and there we are talking, that is a phone, but sometime physically they are transferring the electronic data by using one device to the another device, and that comes into the electronic data interchange. It is a paperless method. So here it is in the diagram, it is clearly mentions one company is sending information to the other company. In between there is a electronic device that may be mobile, that your desktop or tablet. Okay, through that the data is sent to one company to the another company. Next, e-governance. Till now we have learned e-commerce. Now what is e-governance? It signifies the implementations of information technology in the government process and functions so as to cause simple, moral, accountable and transparent governance. The basic purpose of e-governance is to simplify process for all. Now all the government's works are transparent because of this e-governance system started. Everybody can see their land property details online sitting at home. No need to go to the particular office. Now suppose one example, suppose you want to get a land property, this is called Satbara, that you want, then no need to go to the this Tahsil office or Talati office to get that. You can go straight away to the online and you can take a printout of it. It is now possible. So the government, citizen, businesses, etc., earlier day we have to go there and we have to wait when the person will come, that office will get open and will get a document. Now no need to wait, you can directly download, take a printout, then you can get the signature of the authority. Okay, so this is the e-governance system now this day. At the national, state and the local level, you will find this e-governance. So e-governance delivers smart governments, that is simple, moral, accessible, responsive and transparent government. So what are the advantages of the e-governance? The advantages of the e-governance are: first, reduce corruption. Now there is no corruption because of this. See the clear picture you will get. Your document is already uploaded on the net, so easily you can download it. Then high transparency increases convenience, direct participations of constitution, reduce in over cost, means no need to go here and there, and means that time also you can save the money of the transport from going from here to there to that particular office. So reduction in overall cost also is one advantage. And the expanded reach of government, here in the government offices your information is safe and you will get that information on your fingertip by using the internet. So type of governance are: e-governance is of four type depending on the specific type of services. So here e-governance diagram is shown here, and these are the type of services. In that, first service is government to citizen. Government to citizen, that is called G2C. G2C. The government to citizens refer to the government services which enable citizen to get access to wide variety of public services. In this, the government to citizen refers to the government services which is enables citizen to get access wide variety of people services. Now what are the different services are there? That all the services made available to the citizen by the government. Okay, most of the government services fall under G2C, and it helps the ordinary people to reduce the time and cost to conduct a transaction. A citizen can have access to the service anytime from anywhere. And furthermore, many services like license renewals and paying tax are essential in G2C. It also focuses on the geographical land barriers. As I told you, this what type of document you want, that document is available of on the net now this day. So the citizens mean the no need to go into the government offices now. Suppose you want to take any certificate of this land certificate you want, or any other certificate for your scholarship, income status document you want, and that also the document is available on the net. Now every document will get through the uh, net because of this government to citizens, this e-governance. Government to business, next. Government to business, G2B. The government to business is the exchange of service between government and business. Here government and business is involved, that's why it is called government to business. And in this, uh, government to business organizations provide access to the relevant form needed to comply. The G2B also consists of a many service exchange between business sector and the government, and it aims at eliminating paperwork, saving time, cost, and establish transparency in the business environment while interacting with the government. Most of the government's work or the business work can be done through this G2B. Here also the paperwork can be eliminated, saving time, cost saving. Okay, this all this thing comes into the this G2B. Now government to government, here government to government, so the document can be transferred from one office to the another office. The government to government refer to the interaction between different government department, organization and the agency. In government to government agency can share the same database using online communications. The government department can work together. In conclusion, so G2G services can be at the local level or the international level. Likewise, it provides a safe and secure interrelationship between the domestic or the foreign governments. Now, here suppose, so one office to the another office, you want to get any document, you can to transfer. Then the earlier day the people is traveling and taking the document from one place to the another place, and then the document will be available. Now this is, they no need, they can share directly the document from one office to the another office. For example, I'm going to give you that. Now suppose the court matter is there, suppose the taluka court want to send a document to the district court, they can easily transfer that document from that court to the, yeah, district court can transfer some document to the high court, and high court also transfer some document to the supreme court. So it is interaction between different government department organization and the agency. So this government to government is now this day this is working, means one government office to another government office, the data can be sent or the document can be sent to that particular, not only the interrelation between domestic or a foreign government, also we can exchange the document between them. The government to employee, now government to employee, here government and the employee. The government to employee is the internal part of the G2G sector. Furthermore, G2E aim to bring employee together and the improve knowledge sharing. Similarly, G2E provide online facility to the employee, like a employee for leave, reviewing salary payment record, and the checking the balance of holiday. The G2E sector provide human resource training and the development. So G2E is also the relationship between employee, government, institute and their management. Now anyone employee who is working in the government can see the balance of holiday. You can check online. You can check the salary payment record online. So it is a transparency is there. So there is no corruption now. Some effective example of successful implementations of e-governance projects are e-Mitra project is there. E-Seva, now in the E-Seva, if you go any document you want related to your education also, you will get there over there. So Andhra Pradesh, this E-Seva project start, and CET common entrance state also now online. So these are the things comes in the e-governance. The next, security measure in e-commerce. What is the security measure in the e-commerce? The e-commerce security refers to the principle which guides safe electronic transactions, allowing the buying and selling of a good and service through the internet. While purchasing or selling the things on the internet, the security is the main factor. Security is the main factor. So security measure in e-commerce, and security refers to the principle which guides the safe electronic transactions. And how the safe electronic transaction done on the internet? Through the encryption. So encryption means what? And there are two methods are there, encryption and decryption methods are there. So what is called encryption? Encryption means coding. So code method is there, that's why nobody can hack your informations. Otherwise anyone, most of the peoples are hacking the information nowadays day on the net. That's why the peoples are not using their debit card, credit card. So because of this, but now the encryption method is there, that is called, it is safe. And encryption is widely used on the internet to protect your information being sent between the browser and the server. And this include a password, payment information and the other personal information that should be considered private. Now the password, now you are using the password, that password will remain safe, because once you enter the password, that password will go to the server in encryption method. Here you are typing that your name, you are typing at the rate, you are typing 123, because nowadays the password is asking not to use a plain password, not only the character, not only the number, don't use your date of birth, don't use your friend close friend name or mother name, father name, your sister, brother name. Don't use like this. They are not accepting the password. Password should be combinations of alphanumeric character and one special character. So this type of character we are using, so nobody can hack your password. And once we type the password, that goes to the server, from your browser to the server it goes, and that time it goes in the encryption method. Encryption method means coding method. In between, the hacker will not able to understand what type of information is there, so no one can crack your password. Now payment information also the same. When we are doing online shopping, we are making online payment. When we make the online payment, that time also the our information will remain safe, because while using the debit card or credit card, the first bank is verifying that, and bank is sending us the OTP, and through that OTP we can do the payment. Means our data remain secure or safe. And the other personal information that should be considered private. The process consists of two process as the encryption and the description. Encryption convert the plain text to a readable form of data. Now see, encryptions convert the plain text into the readable form of data, that is called the decryptions into the ciphertext. Ciphertext means the coded form of data, means non-readable. When you sending one message, suppose A is sending message to the B, but A is writing message in Marathi and sending to the B, and B does not have that software on his mobile. That time the message appears on B's mobile is in the question mark or the check boxes, and that is called the ciphertext. That is called the ciphertext. The coded form data appear because it is not converted into the plain text, means the readable, human readable it should convert, then one can easily read. So that is called ciphertext. And the plain text means the description is exactly opposite process of the encryption. It converts ciphertext into the plain text. See, it is clearly mentioned. It converts ciphertext into the plain text, means decryption method. Encryption means the coded form, means that is also called the ciphertext, and the decryption means the plain text, human readable, anyone can read that. And this process is there, that's why our data remains safe on the net. Okay, encryptions is of two type. Now symmetric means share secret encryption, and the asymmetric means public key encryptions. Now look at this diagram here, it is clearly mentioned that encryptions, now readable form data means plain text. When we are typing any information and sending, that time it remain plain text. Once it is sent, it become an encryption and it is converted into the ciphertext. Ciphertext means coded form. Ciphertext means coded form of data. You have plain text once you are typing and reading and data sending, and it is sent to the coded form is over, then it will again go into the decryption mode and it will convert into the plain text, means readable form of data. Means this encryption and decryption method is there, because of that the data remains secure. Now next is digital signature. A digital signature is also known as an electronic signature. Digital signature is also known as electronic signature. A digital signature guarantees that authenticity of an electronic documents or message in digital communication and use the encryption technique. Now see the asymmetric cryptography. To provide proof of original and unmodified document, digital signatures are used in e-commerce now, software distribution, financial transaction. This is the direct transfer of the information between two partners. I'm going to give you an example of digital signature. Now suppose you want to take a loan from the finance company, and finance company send you the form to fill and give you, but how you are going to sign over there? You can sign that document by using digital signature. How you can sign? Here it is shown the diagram. Say simple sign PDF document. Okay, you can sign those document by using the PDF format, or you can sign the document by using your Aadhaar card, because now this day Aadhaar card is must. Okay, so Aadhaar card, by entering the Aadhaar card numbers you can sign your any document, that is called digital signatures. Next, digital certificate. What is called digital certificate? A digital certificate is an electronic password that allows a person, organization to exchange data securely over the internet using the public key. This is different than this digital signature. Na? Digital certificate is an electronic password that allow person, organization to exchange data securely over the internet using the public key. So digital certificate is also known as the public key certificate or identity certificate, and in this information is transfer between two authorized partner who have digital certificate issued by some supreme authority. Now here you are going to get the digital public key here. That public key you are going to use to sign the document. When you are going to sign the document, every time you are going to use a digital token, and the digital token means your signatory. Now this day the private company made the digital token and gives to you. They have taken at least 1200 or 1500 to make that type of public key, and that device comes like a pen drive. That device you are going to use whenever you are going to assign a digital certificate. So that is called as the digital certificate signing. So public key, there are two type of key, public key and the private key. So here uh, we have finished these lessons, e-commerce and e-governance. I hope you understood all the concept from this lesson. So I request you to complete the exercise which is given below here. Exercise you are going to complete in your notebook. Assignment will be given to you, but the exercise you are going to complete in your notebook. MCQ every time I am giving you once that particularly lesson is taught, then you will get a MCQ. So my dear students, you are going to find more information regarding e-commerce and the e-governance by using the internet. So we'll come to know what is the use of e-commerce and the e-governance. Thank you.